explosive testimony on Capitol Hill over government censorship. Twitter Files journalist Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger telling lawmakers how the Biden administration applied pressure to shut down free speech.
I regret to inform the subcommittee today that the scope, power, and law-breaking of the censorship industrial complex are even worse than we had realized.
We both talked about how this isn't a partisan issue at all, despite the fact that it's been repeatedly described as a right-wing conspiracy. We found evidence of suppression of movements on both sides.
But the Democrats were not concerned about government pushing censorship.
The First Amendment say the government can censor.
The time of the gentleman has
They're
expired.
not censoring. They're flagging in the social media companies.
So
Under
it's only
coercion.
35% of a First Amendment? Or?
It's not the First Amendment. It's the terms of service, as you said, and they are flagging it for the social media companies to make their own decisions. That is not the First Amendment. That is the terms of service.
Wow. But Congressman Dan Goldman was not done there. He now claims the Hunter Biden laptop isn't real.
You have no idea. You know hard drives can
that
be
it's a conspiracy?
manipulated.
Are you suggesting the New York Post could participate in a conspiracy to construct the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop?
No, sir. The problem is that hard drives can be manipulated by Rudy Giuliani or Russia.
But what's the evidence that that happened?
Well, there is actual evidence of it, but the point is it's
There's
not
no
the
evidence
same
for
thing.
it, so you're engaging in a conspiracy.
I'm glad.
Whew. Jesse, are you concerned about what you just heard there?
I am. Big Brother used to just want to listen to us, and now they want to tape our mouths shut. Well, actually, 35% of our mouths. Could you imagine this was like a speech tax? Because that's what it feels like. You know, I get to say 65% of what I think, but the government gets to take the rest? No. And I'm not saying the government is into tyranny, but I think they're comfortable with it because they've already censored, they've already gagged, they've already arrested Donald Trump. They're trying to replace me with a robot. They're trying to boycott and bankrupt our companies. So at a certain point, it makes me think they're not into democracy, because the best part about democracy is we're giving these politicians power to represent us. We're not giving them power over us. They work for us. We have power over them. And the Supreme Court made it clear. The Constitution's made it clear. You can't abridge free speech, yet the Democrats are out on live television saying, yeah, let's go. This is crazy. They're calling it disinformation, but it's actually just a conversation we're all having. And we used to have a great conversation. You remember in the colonial times, you used to just have these publishing houses that would print the ridicule against the church or slavery or the king, and it would have this great conversation in the country. And then we had television, and then they had these TV licensed 3 media corporations. And now we just have the internet. So the government can just go through the back door of the internet and hit kill switches. No, that's why I'm going to start street preaching.
Wow. Okay. Well, we look forward to that. Judge, are you concerned that this is happening more and more? And to Matt Taibbi's point, on both sides.
What these people are saying is that the government has the ability to skew Americans' views based upon their own politics. And what Taibbi and Schellenberger are talking about is in 2019 and 2020, during the presidential election, we saw it happen. We saw the heads of the FBI and our intelligence community say, you know, that the laptop was Russian disinformation. But what was most concerning was that they said it was not just in the United States with the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security, that it was with the UK as well. And if you think back in 2016, who did Hillary Clinton go to get Russian disinformation on Donald Trump? She went to Christopher Steele, who was a spy in the UK. So it's not just in the United States, it's with our so-called partners in Great Britain. But this guy, Dan Goldman, is dangerous because he thinks that taking away 35% of free speech is okay because he is couching it as in terms of the company, which is nonsense. It's BS. And he's saying that laptop is really, you know, that hard drive may not be legitimate, that it may have been manipulated because it might have been manipulated. Well, there might be Martians up there watching us right now, but because it may be doesn't mean that it is. And unless you show actual manipulation, you cannot try to con the American public into thinking that hard hard drive is not the real hard drive, especially when Hunter Biden admitted it was his.
And denying the laptop, Harold, did that surprise you by a representative of Congress?
It did a little bit. I love exchanges like this before congressional committees, oversight committees, because I think when you get two smart people with fact-based arguments going back and forth, they were yelling. It got a little noisy, but it was informative noisy. It was substantive noisy. And I think that Schellenberger, at least what I saw the exchanges, got the better of Congressman Goldman in the exchange, at least on the substance of what they were debating. Every 15, 20 years, used to be every 30, 40 years, we'd go through these kind of episodes in our country where we would really probe and want to understand, examine how government might be pressuring individuals or institutions to say certain things or not say certain things. We saw it during the civil rights era where people were eavesdropped on because we thought they might have been threats to the country as they were fighting vigorously for people's freedoms. And that balance, that recalibration always comes every 10, 15, 20 years. In this instance, we're going to get a big one. We'll get a big one next year as the court takes up the Missouri v. Biden case, which will determine what are the limits the government can exert on companies or individuals and asking them to regulate or, for that matter, tame or expand their speech. If these allegations are right, that the government, and it seems that some of them are, Sandra, that the government was in the business of trying to tell them what to do or trying to tell them what information was okay, what information is permissible, that's wrong. And I'm glad this hearing is taking place. And again, these are the kind of oversight efforts that I think the American people deserve. Whether you agree with what happened or you disagree with what happened, we all should agree with the fact that no one's right to speak, whether I agree with you or disagree with you, should be infringed upon because I don't like what you're saying.
I'm a little disappointed that I'm going last because I would have loved to hear Harold's rebuttal. And I'm afraid we won't have time to hear your response.
I'm going to respond.
Okay, good. Now, I appreciate how you say that over time, the embrace of free speech might have swung ideologically. There might have been a time in this country when the right was the one pushing.
But I wasn't saying it that way. I'm just saying it just swings.
Well, you talked about the equilibrium. Well, here's what I think is undebatable right now. The regime of censorship in this country, in the current modern moment of America, is being driven wholeheartedly by the left, openly. And in this hearing, Democrats are now the party of censorship. Maybe one day that will not be the case, but that is certainly the case today. We also have the news, the Biden administration is pressuring YouTube to take anyone that has any hesitancy about the vaccine when demand did not meet supply, to take it down. Then this is in 2021. So, and by the way, the left as an ideology generally doesn't embrace free speech to the same level as the right globally. Look at the UK, look at Europe. Canada, hate speech laws. Generally, there's this idea, I'm offended by what you have to say, therefore I should be able to shut you up. The only defense for this country, which is the hallmark of free speech in this world right now, is the American right. I'm not here to tell you that I trust the American right for here to eternity. It's not that they have a sterling record on this, but as an absolute proponent of free speech, I do know this. If you have faith, if you need this part of the American experiment to last, you need the American right to believe this. I will watch them like a hawk, but the left, Harold, is lost. They're gone. They believe in censorship, not the First Amendment.
And so said the court. So said the court, and that's on its way to the Supreme Court. That is, a Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that that is the case.
No one has a monopoly on stupidity or trying to encroach on people's rights.
Well, at this point, they do.
And at this moment, there's no doubt the left needs to be calibrated. But I would remind you that just a year ago, we had a speech conversation about whether people should be able to teach certain things in class, and people said, no, I don't want that. People thought that their free speech rights were being infringed upon. All I'm saying is let's let it all out there and let's have this debate. And this debate that happened before Congress, you're right. What the left has done or what some are doing is wrong, and it should be corrected. I don't care if it's the right or the left instigating it. It should be corrected.
I appreciate that. And
that's all. And I hope you can say on the other side.
And I promise to watch the right. I believe in free speech, even the speech that I hate. And I'm terrified for the future of the First Amendment.
And I'm for the Rangers.
It's easy to jump on the bandwagon now.
We'll leave it at that.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.